There is so much of it, and it is so good. Been honored with a fellowship at the Royal College of Music in London. He's the first rock star to be so honored by the university. Prince Charles said the award is for all that McCartney has done for music this century. And we just want to let you know... Really, they need no introduction. In the 1960s, Paul, John, George, and Ringo were the Beatles. They started in the clubs in Liverpool, England. In 1964, the Beatles did something no British band had done before them. They conquered the American music scene.
They gave their money and they gave their screams, but the Beatles kind of gave their nervous systems.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was just like paradise.
They used us as an excuse to go mad.
Let me take you
The world
down.
did, and then blamed it on us.
More than 30 of their singles and albums went to #1 on the U.S. chart. Their fans on both sides of the Atlantic screamed and fainted.
What appeals to you about the Beatles?
The fact that they're British and that they're very talented without knowing how to read a word of music. And they have a good sense of humor. They're ordinary boys.
But they were anything but ordinary boys. They had it all. They were young, good-looking, rich, musicians and movie stars. In fact, they were larger than life.
I loved the Beatles from day one. I always wanted to be one.
It was interesting to grow up with them, which is in effect what all his fans did.
Their creativity and popularity seemed boundless.
We meant more to kids than Jesus did, or religion at that time. I wasn't knocking it or putting it down, I was just saying it as a fact.
But by 1966, they stopped touring, and by 1970, the Beatles broke up. But they produced an incredible amount of lasting music in that time.
Baby, it's you.
It's hard to say what Beatles music is because it was everything. It was all types. It was all forms of music, of popular music, and they took popular music in a place that it had never been taken before.
Starting tonight, the Beatles tell their own story, in their own words, for the first time on the Beatles Anthology.
We've heard it from everybody else. Now you can hear it from us.
Although it is difficult when 4 people are telling the story because it's actually 4 different stories. I mean, you must realize it's got to be somewhat of a compromise.
We thought it might be good from the inside out rather than from the outside in.
And something no one thought could ever happen since the death of John Lennon. They performed 2 new Beatles songs. Using tracks recorded by John in the 70s, the other 3 Beatles completed the songs incorporating Lennon's voice.
It was quite an emotional thing for them to do, and they got over that by pretending that John had gone on holiday or gone for lunch and left them with the track and said, finish it off or something, you know.
For Beatles...
Listen to me if you wanna say mine.
I loved the Beatles from day one. I always wanted to be one. I wanted to be a musician, but I'm not musically talented.
But that didn't stop Charles Rosenay from building a business based on the Beatles. The New Haven man formed a Beatles fan club, publishes a Beatles newsletter, guides fans on tours of Liverpool, and produces Beatles conventions, similar to this one in Philadelphia.
I want to take this opportunity once again to welcome everybody.
Fans like Jay Skilton of Winstead went all the way to Liverpool with Charles.
It's just a passion of mine, and like these other people, I share it, and they share it with me.
People like Michael Streeto of East Haven, a musician who edits the newsletter Good Day Sunshine, and who once performed with a Beatle clone band as Ringo Starr. In your lifetime, you've not only been a fan, but you've been a Beatle, really.
Yeah, for a short time, I played in the Catskills part of Beatlemania when I went on the road touring.
What inspires this devotion? Rosenay calls it the 3 M's.
It's the music, which is the above all, the be-all. It's the memories, which is for the folks who lived through it and the folks who didn't live through it. Trying to capture a memory they never had. And the M, the last M, is the magic, that S factor, which you really can't put your finger on.
And the 4th M is money. From the first time the Beatles appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show, they've been big business. Their music made them millions, and since their breakup, they've made plenty of other people rich too. These days, the market for Beatle collectibles is very strong. And at a Beatle convention like this, you can find some pretty rare items. How about these early signatures? They can be yours for $7,500. Or this very rare copy of the White Album, serial number 1, for $25,000. And there are people with a story to sell, like Alf Bicknell, the Beatles chauffeur and first road manager.
So one had a job to do, and it was a very tough job. You know, like the song says, it was 8 days a week.
And Alan Williams, their first manager, now known as the man who gave the Beatles away.
I wrote them a letter saying that I'd fix it, that they would never ever work again because they violated my contract and refused to pay my commission. Well, it was me who never worked again.
Almost everyone can sing a Beatles song.
Come on, come on, come on, baby. Come on, baby. Work it out now.
And many of us have grown up with the Beatles music. And people like Hampton music teacher Bill Last have taught it to our kids. A collector of rare Beatle videos, Bill calls himself a first-generation Beatle fan.
I was there from the very beginning. I was a fan, and every birthday and every Christmas and every special occasion, my parents knew what they were going to buy me. It was going to be the latest Beatles single or the latest Beatles album. The Beatles provided the soundtrack to our lives.
And that soundtrack keeps right on playing. I'm Diane Smith.
An awful lot of memories. The Beatlemania Blitz continues this weekend. The 3-day New England Beatles Convention kicks off tomorrow in Stamford at the Sheraton.